Okay, here's an SMG Bell housing that's been converted to manual. And what you have here, I'm going to explain how this thing works and what's going on and how it should be set up. But basically, this hole here goes directly to the shifter arm. So when this moves back and forth, for instance, that position there, that's releasing it just sitting here the way it is with this loaded up, sitting on the back here, this back piston or detent, that is neutral. You don't want any movement here. So this spring has got to rest on these two. This I've added, and it loads it up towards the back. Now this back one has a oil slot in it. You'll see it. The reason, these are forward gears, okay? So when it's pushed, that now engages the shifter to go into the forward gears. And it's oil slotted because that happens quite a bit. Obviously we're shifting in forward gears a lot, so it just oils that. Going this way, okay, you'll push against this spring, you know you're in reverse or going towards reverse because of that tension, that first tension. Then, if I can use something that's quite heavily spring loaded, okay, that puts it in reverse. And you can really feel that. There is a lot of tension on there. A lot of tension. Okay? And that's okay. With the leverage of the shifter, it's not that bad, but it's a lot here. You'll notice when you get these pistons, there's two springs. Okay? The lighter spring goes in the first one, towards the top of the tranny, and the heavier spring towards the bottom. The slotted piston goes in this hole for forward gears. The one that doesn't goes in the back for reverse. So that's about it. One thing when you're doing this, you need to replace this seal. When this comes apart, you need to replace that seal. You can get it from BMW. It's about 30 bucks. Really important. And that's about it. It's not that hard. It's a pretty simple process to modify the bell housing. What I would do is you can go to any machine shop. These dowels are already in position. Okay? And get a good look at the depth of those C-clips. They need to be machined in there. And that sets the load on those springs. Okay? For the amount of effort it takes. So there you go. Now another thing you want to do when you're finished machining the bell housing, you want to clean all this surface here. There's no factory gasket. And what you're going to want to do, use an anaerobic gasket sealer. I use a Loctite gasket maker with the primer. And what you do is you go around and make a bead. This will not set. It only sets when there's no air. So you want to go around all the bolt holes, make that seal all the way around. Then on the other side, the transmission side, or you can do it the other way around, it's up to you, spray this primer. And then you're going to put it together and you're going to torque these bolts down and let it sit for 24 hours. And you'll be good to go. Also, just to help you understand the other aspect of this, here's the other half of the tranny. You'll see this guy right here. I tapped this with a 14, okay, size 14 tap. And this obviously there's a couple parts. You got the little piston with the wheel on it. Then you got a new spring for the SMG, manual, and with a little pin. And what it does is when this shift actuator goes back and forth, this little piston is sprung loaded against a mechanism that tells it what gear it's in, and it pushes in on the center of this sensor, and it lets the DME or whatever cruise control, whatever it's used for, to understand what gear it's in manual. So that's what that's for. Here's obviously the guts of the tranny. This part here, I should tell you, these little buggers come off very easily. And you want to be very careful with that they don't go down into the tranny. This is the part that goes into the bell housing shaft. Again, I'll show you that. It goes right into this shaft right here. And you'll see down the center of that, right in there, it's almost like a cross shaped. Those little wheels fit in there. So I have it sitting right on the end, and you can just go straight down on that and load her up. And you'll have no issue with those coming off. I've had this off a few times. And you want to grease this up a bit with some white lithium grease for that bearing seal, or put it on the bearing. And you're way to go. This isn't that difficult of a job, at least for the tranny modifications. You can go to any machine shop. I just picked a guy that was retired, had this equipment in his shop, and I stood there with him, and we went and machined this thing. Now, the one thing that's difficult in machining, if you really want to know, is being able to get a drill that has a long enough bit, because this is going to be anchored in, and you're going to have a drill press that's going to come in here and machine these. And he had to actually make 2 long bits. This cost me about $250 to have machined, but that included making the drill pit bits to do this. I probably could have had it done a lot cheaper if someone had those, because that took some time. But anyways, I just enjoy doing these things and being involved in the process and learning, and it's seemed like a big job and a mystery to me, but after doing it all and putting it together, I'm pretty comfortable. Now next is to get this puppy in the car.